Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about type 2 eccentric welded connections. So next and last topic in this welded connections is type 2. Okay. Type 2 eccentric welded connection. So type 2 is nothing but out of plane eccentricity. Type 2 is nothing but out of plane eccentricity. So far we have discussed about type 1, that is in plane eccentricity. In that case, both loading plane and weld plane are one and the same. But here that is not the scenario. Loading plane is different and weld plane is different. Okay, weld plane is different. Okay, that is why it is a out of plane eccentricity. Now let us see what are the effects. Okay, what are the effects that weld is subjected to because of this out of plane eccentric load. Okay, out of plane eccentric load. Before that, we'll see the diagram. So first we need to understand the diagrams, and later we'll discuss about analysis and design like in the previous case. So first we'll discuss analysis. Analysis is nothing but what are the effects in the weld group because of that external load. Here that external load is out of plane. Okay, what are the effects, and later we'll see the design. That means various provisions that are mentioned in regard to this type of weld in IS 800 2007. Is that okay? So that we'll discuss, but first let us try to understand the diagram. So first, for that reason, let me draw the diagram here. So this is a column. Let us consider this column as I section. So I section column. So this is the I section column. Okay. Now to this column, or you can say this column is of I section, which consists of flanges. This is one flange and this is another flange, and there exists web in between. Now to one of the flange, okay, to one of the flange, there exists an angular bracket or whatever maybe. There exists one member. Okay, this is that member. Now this member is welded. Okay, now this member is welded, or you can say this bracket is welded to the one of the flange, okay, to the one of the flange of an I section by making use of fillet weld or butt weld. It means, see, in previous case, we have discussed only about fillet weld. It means in making type 1 eccentric welded connection, all the time we use fillet weld only. But in making type 2, okay, making type 2 eccentric welded connection, we can use either fillet weld or butt weld. So this can be either fillet weld or butt weld. So this is the load P and this is the eccentricity E. Is that clear? And this can be either fillet or butt weld. Okay, this can be either fillet or butt weld. It means either we use fillet or butt weld for carrying out this type of connection. But for previous type we use only fillet weld. Okay, but for previous case we use only fillet weld. But here we can use either butt weld or butt weld or fillet weld. Now I will show both cross-sectional views of fillet weld and butt weld in side views. So basically this is a front view. Okay. In front view, we can't observe. Okay, in front view we can't observe the difference between fillet weld and butt weld. Only in side view we can observe the difference between fillet weld and butt weld. Hence I am going to draw that. So in side view we can observe only flange but not web and other flange. Only one flange we can observe. To which flange the bracket is connected, that flange we can observe, and there exists web and other flange on back of this flange. Hence it is not visible. Now fillet weld is done on either side of that bracket. So this is a side view in which fillet weld is shown. So this is a side view. So here we are going to show the side views In side view only, as I mentioned earlier, we can observe the difference between fillet weld and butt weld. So this is the fillet weld. Is that clear? Now let me show the butt weld. So this is how the butt weld. So from this it is very clear, from this side view, it is very clear that fillet weld is always done at the edges or at the sides or at the ends. Now whereas butt weld is done on the surface. That is the main difference. So butt weld is mainly done on the surface, and to carry out butt weld, edge preparation is necessary. Okay, mandatory. Without edge preparation, we can't carry out butt weld. That is the reason butt weld is always done only in workshops, but not in field. Whereas coming to the fillet weld, we can done that fillet weld either in field or in workshop. Okay, workshop. That is the reason fillet weld is considered the most versatile. Okay, most versatile out of all types of welding. Therefore, in 80% of cases, we make welded connections by making use of fillet weld only, because of so many reasons. In that, most important reasons are, or most weighted reasons are, less in cost and easy to fabricate the members by making use of fillet weld. But coming to the butt weld, it is in comparison to fillet weld, it is more costly and even more strength also. Okay, it is more strength also. Is that clear? So this is the fillet weld and butt weld for making or for carrying out this particular welding. Okay, for this particular type of welding, we can use either fillet weld or butt weld. So this is the front view. In front view, we can't differentiate these two welds. So in side view, we can differentiate. Is that clear? Now let us come on to the analysis part, and later we'll see the design. Okay, later we'll see the design part. Now coming to the analysis, what is analysis? First, we have to convert this eccentric load into concentric. If you convert eccentric load into concentric load, now that concentric load accompany with moment. Now what is that moment is the main point of discussion here. As we have discussed in bolted connections, also the same thing. So here also the same. Okay, whatever the concepts we have discussed for bolted connections in whatever the concepts we have discussed for type 2 eccentric bolted connections in bolted connections, the same concepts remains here also, with one difference. What is that difference? Let us discuss. Before that, convert that eccentric load into concentric. So if you convert eccentric load into concentric load, so this concentric load accompanied with a moment. So that moment is nothing but bending moment, right? Bending moment. Here is the same case. Is that clear? As discussed, as I mentioned earlier, whatever effects the bolts are subjected because of this type of connection, the same effects the weld is also subjected, with only one difference. What is the difference? Coming to the type 2 eccentric bolted connection, okay, coming to the type 2 eccentric bolted connection, because of bending moment, okay, because of bending moment, bolts above neutral axis are only subjected to bending tension, whereas bolts below neutral axis are not subjected to any bending effects. Is that clear? But coming to the type 2 eccentric welded connection, the total cross section of weld, okay, total cross section of the weld, or you can say entire weld group, is subjected to bending effects. It means the weld above neutral axis is subjected to bending tension, below neutral axis is subjected to bending compression. That is only the difference. Just everything remains same. Is that okay? Clear? Now I'll rub this diagram. So once you take this diagram clearly, and after that I'll rub this diagram and I will show only cross sections of fillet weld and butt weld. That's it. And later we'll see the analysis. Okay. By showing the cross sections, we'll discuss the analysis. As fillet weld is done on either sides, so those two fillet welds I'm combining here. So this is the fillet weld done on one side, and this is the fillet weld done on other side. Is that clear? Now this is the butt weld. Clear? So this is the cross section of fillet weld. And this is the cross section of butt weld. And one more name for butt weld is groove weld, right? Butt weld or groove weld, one and the same, which is what already discussed. Clear? Now let me show the axis. So this is XX. Okay, this is XX. Basically, this is a neutral axis. And this is YY. Okay, this is YY. Now for fillet weld, this is the total width, which consists of throat thickness of each fillet weld. It means the total is 2 TT, right? Total is 2 TT. And this is the length. Basically, it is effective length. Okay, it is effective length. For our simplification, we represent it as LW, right? Now coming to the butt weld, this is the thickness, which we represent with TE, throat thickness TE, and this is the length LW. LW, which is equal to depth of the bracket. If the butt weld is axially loaded, then length of the butt weld is equal to width of the connecting member. If it is eccentrically loaded, then length of the butt weld is equal to depth of that bracket or depth of that connecting member to the flange of a column. Is it clear? These are the cross-sectional dimensions. Okay, these are the cross-sectional dimensions. Now direct shear stress. As we know, this direct shear stress is due to direct load or concentric load. So due to direct or concentric load. Is that clear? So let us represent this direct shear stress with Q. Okay, Q. So this direct shear stress is nothing but load upon area. Okay, load upon area. So by area. Clear? Load upon area. Now for fillet weld, okay, for fillet weld, this Q is equal to, okay, for fillet weld, this Q is equal to load P upon area. Area is how much? 2 TT into length, L effective or LW, one and the same. For our simplicity, I'll write it as LW. So 2 TT into LW. Now for butt weld, B. Q is equal to load upon area. Area is nothing but T into LW. Clear? These are the direct shear stress formulas for butt weld and fillet weld, which occurs due to direct load or concentric load. Clear, everyone? Now the second, bending stress, bending normal stress. Okay, bending normal stress, which we represent with small f. This is mainly due to bending moment, due to moment P, right? Due to moment P. Now, for calculating bending normal stress F, we make use of the famous formula what we have studied in strength of materials. What is that formula? We have studied in simple bending theory, simple theory of bending, that is M upon I. Here I'll write M upon I is equal to F upon Y is equal to E upon R, right? This is the famous formula we have studied in simple theory of bending. By making use of the first two terms in this formula, we'll calculate the normal stress here. Okay, we'll calculate the bending normal stress here. Now what is that formula? M upon I into Y, right? Here also we need to calculate the normal stress for fillet weld and butt weld. Okay, so first, for fillet weld, okay, for fillet weld. If you see for fillet weld, I, this is the, okay, I is along the neutral axis or along XX axis, along which the bending will occur, or along which the moment is acting. Okay, now how to calculate I for butt weld and fillet weld, very easy formulas. Here itself I am showing. For fillet weld, I is equal to BDQ by 12. Here B is 2TT and D is LW. So BDQ by 12. B is equal to 2TT. D cube is nothing but LW cube by 12. Clear? Now Y. What is Y? Y is the distance of the extreme fiber from neutral axis. So this is Y. Here Y is nothing but LW by 2. Yes or no? So Y is equal to LW by 2. Which is same for both fillet weld and butt weld. Now coming to the moment of inertia for butt weld, it is T E LW cube by 12. Okay. Upon substituting these values here, normal stress, bending normal stress in fillet weld is nothing but M. M is nothing but PE. And Y is nothing but D by LW by 2. Okay, LW by 2. And moment of inertia is nothing but 2TT LW cube by 12. So 2TT 12. Upon simplifying, we'll get this as 3PE by TT LW square. Upon simplifying this expression, we'll get bending normal stress in fillet weld as a 3PE upon TT LW square. Now for butt weld. Same, substitute the same things. Okay, directly I write the formula. Here in place of moment of inertia, we need to substitute TE into LW cube by 12. So upon simplifying, we will get bending normal stress in butt weld as 6PE divided by TT LW square. So these are the bending normal stress formulas in butt weld and fillet weld. Is that clear, everyone? So first you take this and later we will see the further. Okay, later we will see the further discussion. So first you take it down. So I'll drop this. And I'll show you the variation of shear stress and bending stress. So for the variation, or this total analysis is based on elastic analysis. It means by making use of strength of materials only, so far we have calculated the stress in the fillet weld because of this out of plane eccentricity. Even in type 1 eccentric welded connection, that is in plane eccentricity loading also, for in plane eccentric loading also, we have used concepts of strength of materials, that is elastic analysis. Here also we are going to use the same concepts. Here also we are going to use the same concept. And let us see the variation. As the weld group is subjected to the bending moment, therefore shear stress variation is parabolic. It means in strength of materials we have studied that for rectangular cross section, the shear stress variation is parabolic, right? Maximum will occur at the center, yes or no? This is the actual shear stress variation, Q. Actual Q variation. Actual Q variation. Now coming to the bending stress, it varies linearly like this. So this is F variation. From these two diagrams, from these two stress distribution diagrams, it may be noted that the maximum shear stress and normal stress occurs at different locations. Yes or no? So here where the tau max will occur, and here where F max will occur. It means here it is 0, and either at top or bottom F max will occur. Yes or no? So the maximum shear stress and normal stress occurs at different locations. Therefore, it is probably not necessary to combine these two stresses. Is that clear? Why? Because this normal stress is occurring, the maximum normal stress is occurring at extreme fiber, whereas the maximum shear stress is occurring at the center. Therefore, it is not probable to combine these two stresses. Is that clear? However, the code prescribes the expression. For combination of the two stresses. So that combination of two stresses is known as equivalent stress. And there exists one expression for that equivalent stress. What is that equivalent stress? We'll discuss. That is what the design part and provisions related to the design. It means with this, the analysis part is completed. Now we are entering into the design part. Are provisions related to this type of welding. Clear? Okay, before that, a small discussion here, a small point here. This is the actual shear stress variation, which is parabolic in nature. Hence, it is very difficult to analyze, or it is very difficult in using your analysis. Whenever we are carrying out the analysis, all the parameters should be constant. Then only analysis will be easy, or else it will be very lengthy or complicated. So, because of that reason, we assume this shear stress variation as a uniform, just like in RCC. So this is the actual shear stress variation, but we assume this as like this, uniform. So this is assumed Q variation. Okay, this is assumed Q variation. That is the reason maximum. Okay, direct shear stress or direct maximum shear stress is nothing but load upon area. If we assume this variation in our analysis, then shear stress formula should be FA y bar by IB, which is very lengthy and complicated, and so we don't consider this in our analysis. But in real, this is the analysis. Based on that only, we came to know that maximum shear stress and bending stress are occurring at different locations, and it is probably not necessary to combine the two stresses. However, code prescribes some expression. What is that expression? We'll discuss now. Is that clear? So this is the shear stress variation we assume, and this is the bending stress variation, and this is the actual shear stress variation. Clear now, everyone? Now let us see the expression given in the code for the combination of the two stresses. So the combination of two stresses is called as equivalent stress. We represent with Fe. Equivalent stress. We represent it with Fe. So now Fe, as per the formula mentioned in the code, that is F square plus 3Q square. We know what is F and what is Q. So F is nothing but normal stress, whether it is axial or bending, and Q is nothing but shear stress. Both are calculated. It means both are due to external applied loading. Is that clear, everyone? Now there exist some provisions, not only this formula, in relation to this formula, there exist some checks and provisions mentioned in the code. What are those? Let us see. For fillet weld, okay, for fillet weld, this equivalent stress. So there exists one check. What is that check? Let us see. Check. In case of fillet weld, this is the check we need to carry out. That check is this equivalent. Okay, this equivalent stress should be less than or equal to design shear stress. Clear? Now design shear stress in fillet weld is, as we already discussed in our previous sessions. So design shear stress is equal to Fu upon root 3 into gamma mw, and we know that this gamma mw is equal to 1.25 for shop welding and 1.5 for field welding. Is that clear? So now for fillet weld, this is the check. What is that check? This equivalent stress, that is under root F square plus 3Q square, should be less than or equal to design shear stress. Clear, everyone? Now there exists one more provision related to this check. Okay, related to this check. Here I will write check not required in following cases. Okay. Whatever the check is there, here check is nothing but equivalent stress should be less than or equal to design shear stress. Now whatever the check is there, that check is not required. Okay, not required in following cases. What is that case? First one, side fillet weld okay, side fillet weld used for connecting, okay, used for connecting cover plates and flange plates. Okay, cover plates and flange plates. Okay, it means, see, here I will show. Suppose this is a gusset plate. Okay, suppose this is a gusset plate. What is side fillet weld? I am explaining here. Suppose this is a gusset plate. Now to this gusset plate, one member is connected. Okay. Now this member is connected to the gusset plate by making the fillet weld. Now this is how the welding is done, right? Now if the welding is done here, this is the direction. Okay, this is the direction of the load or direction of the force. If the welding is parallel, if the welding is or length of the welding is in the longitudinal direction or parallel to the direction of the force, then they are called as side fillet weld. It means these two are called as side fillet welds. And this is called as end fillet weld. That is the meaning of side fillet. Okay, side fillet weld. So if this side fillet weld is used to connect cover plates and flange plates, then the above check is not required. And there exists one more condition in which this check is not required. What is that condition? Let us see. So sum of normal and shear stress F plus Q. So what is F and what is Q? We know. Of course, we have seen how to calculate that F and Q also because of out of plane eccentric loading, right? So this sum of F plus Q does not exceed Fu by root 3 gamma mw. If this is a scenario, it means if sum of the normal stress and shear stress does not exceed, okay, does not exceed design shear stress in the weld, then this check is not required. So for fillet weld, these are the two cases in which the check is not required. Actually, the check is equivalent stress should be less than or equal to design shear stress. Basically, we represent it with FWD, design shear stress in the weld. Okay, design shear stress in the fillet weld. That FWD is nothing but Fu by root 3 into gamma mw. Now this check is not required in these two cases. Is that clear? So first you take it down. Later we will see the check and the exceptions of that check for butt weld. Okay. So first you take it down. Now we will see for butt weld. Previously we have discussed for fillet weld. Now let us see for butt weld. Now the check for butt weld. So check for butt weld is this equivalent stress should be less than or equal to design normal stress. Okay, design normal stress. So design normal stress is nothing but, so design normal stress is equal to Fy upon gamma m naught. Basically this Fy for mild steel is 250 and partial factor of safety for steel, structural steel is 1.1. Upon simplifying, we are going to get it as 227.27 Newton per mm square. This is the design normal stress. Okay, this is the design normal stress. So for butt weld, the equivalent stress, this is the equivalent stress, should be less than or equal to design normal stress. Is that clear? Now again, here also some exceptions are there. Not required. This check is not required. Now let us see what are the cases in which the check is not required. The first case, when butt welds are axially loaded. When butt welds are axially loaded. Of course, we have discussed about axially loaded butt weld in our previous sessions. So in that case, this check is not required. Here the butt weld is subjected to not only axial forces but also some movement, right? Hence the check is required. But if butt weld is only subjected to axial load, then this check is not required. Second, when sum of normal stress and shear stress does not exceed design normal stress. Okay, sum of normal stress and shear stress does not exceed design normal stress, that is Fy by gamma m naught, and shear stress, calculated shear stress does not exceed 50% of design shear stress, that is Fy by root 3 into gamma mw. If this is the case, then the check is not required. So these are the cases in which check is not required. Is that clear? For butt weld. So we have seen for fillet weld and we have seen for butt weld. So one thing I want to make clear for this type of welding, that is this type 2 eccentric, okay, this type 2 eccentric welded connection. So coming to this type 2 eccentric welded connection, this type has gained popularity in recent time. Okay, if you see previous year gate, recent previous year gate questions, we will find definitely one question, whether it is 2 mark or 1 mark. But there exists one question, whether it is 1 mark or 2 mark. So we can conclude that this type of welded connection, okay, this type of eccentric welded connection has gained popularity, or the weightage has increased for this type. And one more point about this type of welding is, you can't find this much of clearly in any reference book and in any material also. Whatever we have discussed about this type of welding, so that much of clarity or that much of okay, that much of detail, okay, whatever you have discussed, so that much of details and clarity you can't find in any reference book or in any materials that is available in market. Hence, go through this again and again. So for two reasons, you have to concentrate more on this type of welding. What are those two reasons? One is, in recent time this particular welding has gained weightage, has gained its weightage, and another is you can't find this type of welding explanation clear and details in detail what we have discussed. Okay, you can't find clear cut discussion or explanation about this type of welding in any reference book or in any material. That is the reason you have to go through it again and again. Hope I have made it very clear for you about this type of welding. Of course, everything we have discussed in detail, but coming to this type, okay, coming to this type particularly, why I am stressing is you can't find this much of detailed discussion or the clear explanation in any book. Clear, everyone? Hence, go through it. Revise more and more.